You know how when you stop chasing her, she starts paying attention right away? It appears that the more you attempt to capture her attention, the less she desires to do so. The closer you get, the farther away she gets, but when you step, you disappear. Returning your focus to yourself alters the situation, drawing her back to you. Does that happen? It's not a joke or a trick. There's more going on than that. This video will talk about why disappearing can sometimes happen, be the best way to get her attention again, and we'll link this to Stoicism, a theory that teaches people how powerful self-discipline can be. It's not about playing hard to build mental strength and knowing when to let go. Being cold or getting, it's about learning how to value your own time and space. When you stop chasing after things and start focused on yourself, you naturally feel like that makes her want to come back, and we'll talk about why we give her room to, I miss you, but staying in your own peace can change everything. Dynamic relationships mean showing that you are emotionally independent and not needy. When you step back, you give her a chance to take the next step forward. Are you prepared to understand why minimalism can enhance the quality of your stay? Stay tuned, and before we go any further, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe button. Please click the reminder bell for more tips on how to deal with Stoic people in relationships. Trust and clarity. Number 1. The power of not being there. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, is a saying that everyone has heard about love. It may sound like a cliché, but there's a lot of truth to it. Let's break this down. When you step back from contact, Stoicism says you're not just making things. The distance you're creating evokes wonder and intrigue, and most importantly, here's how to prove your worth. Imagine the following scenario. Instead, spend all your time writing, calling, or trying to impress her. You look inside yourself and focus on your own growth and goals. From a Stoic point of view, your power lies in the fact that you no longer need her approval or assurance that your sense of purpose is what drives you, and this quiet faith she conveys a tremendous deal without requiring you to express a single word. Now, think about how she views this change. Your messages stop coming in as often, and you're no longer. You're harder to reach because you're always trying to please her. She begins to ponder your activities, which piques her interest. You're following your dreams and spending time on your hobbies or job. This air of mystery grows around you. You become more interesting, like a puzzle. She feels pulled to solve your absence, which gives her time to think about the person you're. As she grows, she begins to notice aspects of you that she may have overlooked previously before she remembers what first drew her to you, your wit, drive, or sense of fun. It's like she's finding you again, and this new view says she likes you more because you're not pursuing her. Stoicism says we can't control others' approval. We can choose how to react and where to focus by stepping back. When you use that control, you demonstrate to her that your happiness is independent of her self-respect. You naturally attract people who are independent and calm as you let go of the to keep after her. She can feel the change. If she used to be the center of your world, the empty space you leave behind stands out, making her bigger. As her feelings for you grow, she starts to wonder what you're doing and why you're not available for her. She's interested in you, and more importantly, you send her a clear sign by not chasing her. If you value yourself, you won't lower your honor or self-worth just to get something. This is where your patient attitude comes into play. She was calm, centered, and devoid of the need for her approval. When you focus on what you can change, like your growth and your goals, that talks louder. Instead of big acts of kindness, she'll start to miss you over time. Take pleasure in the small details that initially set you apart, such as your quiet confidence and your unique style. Choose your words carefully, considering the moments you shared that brought her a sense of intimacy. When these traits are absent, She will see you in a different light. This is the paradox of attraction, guys. Sometimes your move is best. You don't have to do anything, just step back and give her room. Put no pressure on her. Let your love grow naturally. Instead of allowing her interest in you to grow, you are actively trying to get her praise at its own pace. Number 2. Noticing your worth. Let's picture a time when you stop looking for her all the time. If you're trying to get her attention or get her support, something amazing starts to happen. To stand out like a valuable and rare prize that suddenly grabs everyone's attention, the irony lies in stepping out. After the chase, you both begin to realize the true value of each other. Consider this. When you were consistently present and prepared, it's straightforward for her to take you for granted. She may not have fully appreciated what you did for her, but now that you've given her space, giving her space is like shining a light on all the worth you bring to the table. She suddenly feels your presence and your absence. Your absence talks louder than your presence. You could argue that it was the manner in which you provided her with solace during her difficult days, or the way you made her laugh. Perhaps it was the small things you did, like remembering her favorite things, that brought her comfort during difficult times. When she needed it most, she brought her favorite food or a song. Now she's considering all the ways you improved her life while she was alone. She might not have fully appreciated the moments she spent with you until now. She enjoyed the inside jokes, the peculiar texts that brightened her day, and the knowledge that Glenn is. All of these are now playing over and over in her mind, turning normal events into strange ones. From a calm perspective, this change isn't just something she wants. It's not about her noticing your absence. It's about you understanding yourself. Take a step back and refrain from pursuing her. You should know your worth and not depend on others for happiness, according to Stoic philosophy. Getting someone else's attention isn't a game or an attempt to control her thoughts. It's about realizing that the amount of love or attention you receive does not determine your value. Living life independently, away from the chase, is writing your own story, terms that focus on your interests, growth, and happiness. She starts to. When you learn how much you added to her best times, she starts to miss them. You provided her with light and love when you were her rock, and she did not anticipate anything from you. She's beginning to recognize your true worth, not because you created her. You stepped back and allowed her to feel the void you left. She's coming after you while you're out there growing, learning, and having fun, to the powerful understanding that you weren't just a background figure, you were. This is an important part of her life, and the best part is when she finally sees it. It's as if she unearthed a treasure that had been awaiting her all along. That's where your strength comes from. Since you've ceased your pursuit of her, it's possible that she now desires a meeting with you. Would love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think that taking a step back can show someone how valuable you truly are? Have you ever experienced moments of letting go? Let's take a look. Leave a comment with your thoughts, stories, or anything else. What you think about this from your point of view might help someone else. On their third trip, she turns in to imagine that you've been the one in this situation for weeks or even months. She consistently reaches out, puts in the effort, and actively participates in her life. Constant breeze. Each day begins with a message from you, attempting to capture her attention. You show up at the places she likes to hang out to be a part of her day. You set out in the hopes of meeting someone by chance, but suddenly, the morning comes to an abrupt end. When texts stop and random runs stop, it's like the place where you were is now silent. The next step is where things begin to change. By stepping back, she messed up the rhythm she was used to, and her mind started to wander. Having a lot of questions. Why is he quiet? She finds it difficult to understand the changes you've made. This is where her interest begins to grow. Her plan has deep roots. Stoic ideas advocate for letting things happen naturally, without pushing or forcing. Being curious about what will happen is a natural part of being human. When you take a step back and stop giving her all your energy, especially when things don't go as planned, she starts to do her own thing. Suddenly, her thoughts turn to you, and she picks up her phone to check if she missed a message or finds herself tuned in. You are now the only thing she thinks about when she hears your name. Instead of pursuing her, you've stepped back and let her think about you. The more you pursue her, the more control she perceives she has over the situation. She has power because you're constantly pursuing her, but as soon as you stop, she regains it. When you pull back, something amazing happens. You regain control, and now she is in charge. Your absence has made that person think about you, not what you're doing. She might start to wonder if she missed something important, if your attention has faded, or if you're no longer interested, without her on new adventures. This is a classic example of quiet wisdom in action. Constantly wanting someone's attention is an act of connection. You feel anxious when you become attached to someone, but you feel free when you stop needing her praise or attention. Additionally, this transformation enhances your beauty beyond what you were before. When you're not depending on her approval to feel safe, your confidence grows. People often find themselves drawn to things that appear elusive. Reach. When you stop following, you become a little sketchy. I'm uncertain about its essence. It doesn't revolve around mental tricks. It's about evolving. Someone interesting, someone who makes you curious by taking a step back you've made. Make her think about you in a way she hadn't before, and she'll be yours in no time. Do you want to know why she can't get you out of her mind? This change in dynamic is how you slowly change roles and go from being the one being chased to being the one that she can't stop thinking about. You change into that intriguing puzzle. When you work on your own peace of mind and self-respect, she wants to solve. Of course, you become more magnetic, number 4. She moves her. Consider this: if you're always there for her, she might not fully trust you. Observe the small things you do to make her day better. Maybe the things you say made her feel better. She felt calm because of her mood, or because you were there with her. Always there, but she didn't fully value them. Once you pull back, the quiet that follows makes her think, and she starts to understand. She starts to understand what's missing and why she didn't value those times before. This change has nothing to do with people. It comes from a key Stoic concept. Stoicism tells us to focus on ourselves and let go of things we can't change. Separate our happiness from what other people do and take back our own power. By stepping back, you're not playing with her feelings. Instead, you're giving her a chance to see how valuable you are on her own. Think about it this way. Always asking a friend to hang out may lead to taking it for granted. You should always start things, but if you step back, that place could lead to them wondering why you haven't called and why they yearn for the times they spent with you. This could potentially increase their appreciation for your work and instill a fresh motivation in you. You'll know you're back together when her goals change and she starts making more time for you in her life. If she shows a passing interest, it means she knows your job and is willing to. If you hadn't done that, the relationship would have required more time and money. Made that space by taking a step back, using Stoic knowledge, and letting go of the "she doesn't need your approval," so you should allow her to determine your importance at her own pace. That's when a woman shifts her attention to someone else and includes you in it, meaning it's a clear sign that she's not just interested. If you're serious, you must stop to change your goals. Remember to avoid chasing and give her space to approach you. It's It's time to take a step back, relinquish control, and accept the situation as it is meant for you will easily happen. Isn't it fascinating how things can work out? Pulling back can create space for more in-depth reflection and personal growth. The change is about her realizing what she's missed and you embracing yours. It's about controlling your own life and letting go of things you can't change. Stoic thought tells us to think about how we can change ourselves. Don't rely on the opinions or approval of others. Instead, focus on what are your own. What do you think about this idea? Do you agree that sometimes stepping back can make a bond stronger? Share your thoughts in the comments section below, or if you're feeling thoughtful, just type, "The time between now and then is where growth happens." Let's keep going on this journey. At number 5, she begins to contemplate. This presents an intriguing opportunity. Imagine how something profound begins to stir within her when you take a step back. When I think about you, your absence doesn't simply disappear. It prompts her to reflect on herself in a manner she might not have previously. It's like you've held up. She looks in the mirror for the first time and sees herself in a way she hadn't recognized herself before. Before she starts to think about everything again, was her cancellation too hasty? Plans to spend time with you, were her responses icy, or did she laugh at them? Your stories sound forced, and all of a sudden she starts to wonder if her actions were intentional, played in putting space between you two, and this is where it really gets weird. It's fascinating how her mind transforms into a courtroom, where she assumes the roles of both the accuser and the judge. The judge plays back old talks, reads old texts, and looks over them again. Your past contacts were looking for any mistakes she might have made. Did she seem? Her tone was cold and far away. This isn't just a moment of worry. It's a deep, thoughtful journey where she starts to question her actions from a whole new angle. Through her memories, closely examine how she behaved, how she felt, and how emotionally available she was when you were together. However, this is taking place because your choice to step back has made a gap. This gap leaves a space, a void, where there used to be a steady connection. To doubt not only your relationship, but also her part in it. And this is where Stoicism can provide valuable insights. By stepping back, detachment and emotional discipline are two of the most important traits. Instead of acting desperate or trying to fix things right away, you've chosen to focus on Stoicism. Epictetus was right when he said that you're not looking to her for approval or encouragement. We can't change the outside world, but we always have a choice. How we respond to them. You've decided not to go after letting her have the freedom to reach her own conclusions. This change often leads to something she didn't expect: self-growth. You might find out that she wasn't as committed as she thought, or that she didn't value your care as much as she thought she did. She might see that she didn't try hard enough, and now that you've given her room to grow, she starts to change. She grows by becoming more aware of how she acts during this time of thought, connects with you and other people, and that's why Stoicism is so great for relationships. That way, she can come to these decisions on her own, without any outside pressure, manipulating people while you're living your life to the fullest and concentrating. As you work on your own goals and improvement, you're not waiting for her to come back. Instead, you embody the Stoic ideals of strength and growth. No matter what the situation is, this is a very powerful position to hold. I learned how to be detached and self-control, knowing that your worth comes from inside you, not from her. When it's time to get back together, you'll probably find that she's not interested in praise or approval. You have piqued her interest, gratitude, and possibly attraction before, because your absence gave her time to think and figure out what she might lose. But it's a good thing because it means you've both changed and grown. Remember when the balance between you has shifted in your favor. If you stop chasing her, you won't lose anything. In fact, you'll gain an edge by being emotionally strong and giving her time to think. The most important thing for Stoics to remember about relationships is to let go of the need to let's pursue each other and grow stronger together. Sixth person. Getting her competitive spirit up to this point, you've been the one. She's been relentlessly pursuing her, shifting the balance of power in her favor. They can easily enjoy your attention without having to do anything, but what happens when you decide suddenly the situation shifts? Now she's the one making the want to get your attention. It's not just you chasing her. Starts to understand that other people may also be interested in them. This subtle shift ignites an unexpected spark within her. This isn't just driven by jealousy, though that might play a role. At its core, it's about she wants to show her worth, both to you and to herself. He wants to feel your time, energy, and attention will become valuable as soon as you stop chasing them. Once she realizes she can't take your attention for granted, you might start to notice her more. If her behavior changes, maybe she cares more about how she looks. Suddenly seems interested in the things you love, whether it's your favorite sports, music, or those. She begins to show interest in your life by exploring the hidden places you enjoy. Little things remind you why you liked her in the first place. It's fascinating that the further back you go, the harder she tries to close that gap. However, it doesn't end there. She's not just trying to get you back. It's about her efforts to improve without anyone noticing. She is trying to get your attention. She is also pushing herself to grow as a person. She's not just trying to please you. She is progressing and evolving into a more improved version of herself. Process. The Stoic theory proves to be highly beneficial in this situation. It teaches us the importance of patience and self-control. We cannot control others simply by taking a step back. You are in charge. When you use these values, you're not letting your feelings steer you. Instead of persistently pursuing her, you exude a sense of calm confidence. Your natural beauty shows her that your worth isn't dependent on her. Praise, but based on your own sense of self-worth, calm and inner peace, is what really interests her. It's not about having fun. It's not about playing games, but about demonstrating that you're content with who you are. If she doesn't take the initiative, someone else will. It's interesting how taking a step back transforms you into someone she desires to be with. She didn't anticipate someone would be vying for her natural talent. She feels the need to prove herself, and she wants to remind you of this, that she should be the one to catch your eye. So guys, sometimes the most important thing you can do is stepping back. Not only make her want to fight, but you also show Stoic traits like you have achieved independence and mental security. You are no longer the one being pursued. If she lets things happen naturally in this space, she will either rise to the you'll find peace in knowing that your worth has never depended on an event. First, you're in charge of yourself, and that's where your true self is. People with power. If you've made it this far, think about how these dynamics apply to your own life. Have you ever observed a shift in someone's behavior? You could have pulled back or felt the push when the tables were turned in a relationship. I want you to take a moment to think about how stern ideas like having self-control and being emotionally stable can help you. If you are comfortable with sharing your interactions, please type this line in the comments section. I'll let things happen as they may. So, let's see how these reflections fit in with each other. Number 7, she says, to understand how she feels. Imagine that you've been trying so hard to win her over. Paying close attention to every detail and giving your full attention to every talk is crucial. Make her see you, then do something significant before stopping, not out of anger or frustration. Loss, but from a deep understanding based on the Stoic philosophy. By taking a step back, you give her something she didn't expect. a chance to think about what you said. I truly care about her, and this is where things start to change. It's kind of like a change in the air, a slight shift that happens when you're not constantly. She can't count on your presence being there when you're suddenly accessible. You should stop chasing her and give her time to think about something important. Deeply buried things are now emerging. Following a quiet life causes this, not trickery. Concentrate on what you can control, such as your own actions or your own tranquility, and giving up outside validation, like her quick attention or pulling away from her love, frees you from the need to control her. Instead of focusing on their emotions, you turn your attention to your own growth. When you are content with yourself and your self-worth, you cease pursuing external goals. You give her space to work through her feelings without you being there. Consider the stress of constantly being present. That way she didn't have to think about how much the messages or calls were worth. We knew she might not have noticed you. She meant to have you around, but now that you've left, there's a clear nature that despises empty spaces, and this space you've created is no different. It gives her time to think about what she's missing. It's in these quiet moments that she starts to notice the little things, like how your words made her laugh, or that it was helpful to know that you were always close by. It was like stopping a video. Now, she is revisiting all the significant scenes in her mind, the ones that were easy to overlook during your absence. Always in front of her, this is where her real power lies. It was smart of Marcus Aurelius to say that what stops people from acting moves them to act. By stepping back, what's in the way turns into the way. Perhaps a joke you told her will help her understand how important you are. Inform her or observe the silence on her phone when you don't text her frequently, realizing things and adding them up until she comes to a strong opinion about you. Being there gave her life a kind of worth she didn't fully understand until later. Now, keep in mind that this won't happen overnight. It will happen slowly. As the sparks slowly grow into a light, she may start to think about you more. She is more interested in why you're not there or who you might be with. She begins to contemplate her feelings regarding the pain caused by your absence, and she discovers the following. Of course, you didn't cause this change in her feelings. That's the beauty of it. You didn't push her to understand anything. She did it on her own, because you gave her room to do so. So guys, the lesson here is that sometimes the best way to win her heart isn't to chase her or work hard all the time. It's to take a step, come back and let her know how much you've missed her. Let her find her own way. Knowing what she had when she had you, and when that moment. When you understand that she chose to reach out, not you, for a reason, it will mean so much more. Put her under a lot of stress. That's Stoicism at work, mastering your own. Be mindful of your emotions and actions, and have faith that everything else will unfold according to plan. Should number 8 be fear of losing you? Picture this, the time you stop. When you chase her, everything changes. It's like the whole situation changes, and she's starting to wonder if you're still as interested in what used to be a hunt for her as you were before. She now wants to know why you've taken a step back, even though she has your full attention. This change makes her very afraid that she might lose you when something we're feeling. When we quickly lose something we've grown accustomed to, it increases our value. This resonates strongly with us, making us feel as though we're missing something significant. Humans naturally gravitate toward a psychological truth due to our nature. What just seems out of reach? By pulling back, you've made yourself more. You've changed from someone who was always open to someone who is now. She begins to contemplate you as the mystery surrounding the prize deepens. Most of the time, your volatility makes her more aware of something. Since you're not present, she might check her phone more frequently to figure out why your texts aren't being sent. Quite often, she might even start to wonder if she did something to make you leave in these times. Fear of losing you gets stronger at this point. This is where Stoic principles come in. By not pursuing her, you suit the setting. Take control of your emotions and demonstrate that your sense of self-worth is unconstrained. To get her acceptance, you act like you don't care what happens. Stoic philosophy says that instead of responding emotionally or trying to force someone to do something, you stay calm and distant during the connection action. But that doesn't mean you don't matter. It just means you know how valuable you are and won't beg for anything. What usually happens next is that her fear of losing you leads her to sense a shift when she sees a clear lack of effort from you. If she feels strongly about it, she may start to reach out more by texting or trying to start up again. She starts to do the work you used to spark, the spark that seems to be flinging. She is trying to reclaim what she believes is slipping away. Think about how this Stoic wisdom. By taking a step back, you allow her to fully enjoy. By valuing your past work, you give her space to consider what she might be about to lose. This isn't a game or a matter of being. It's not about being cunning. It's about knowing how relationships work when you stop chasing them. You're not playing a game. You've chosen to work on your own growth, peace, and well-being. By doing this, you are giving her the opportunity to come forward and meet you. No matter where you are, remember that Stoicism requires responsibility. Self-respect should always be what drives you, not what controls your choice. Taking a step back isn't a way to play with her feelings. It's a way to make sure she knows that. Being content doesn't rely on other people accepting you. It depends on knowing what you're worth and choosing to be happy. Avoid chasing after things that don't help you. When you step back, you make room for a chance. For her to truly comprehend your value, she must experience your loss. Consider what she values and how she feels without you. It works because it shows that you are whole, all by yourself. We need someone to affirm you. That's where real power lies as we wrap up today's talk. It is important to know that stepping back is sometimes the best way to get a woman's attention. It's not enough to just change the normal dynamic. You need to know yourself. Stoic thought says that you should respect yourself and believe in your own worth. Your inner strength comes from focusing on your personal growth. You grow more in life instead of pursuing someone else. Beautiful. This pause gives her a chance to think, and she'll often start to see the worth she might have been missing. This isn't about playing. Maintaining your honor is more important than playing games or hurting others. You should refrain from pursuing approval and instead let your self-assurance speak for itself. From other people you reclaim your inner power and give off a calm, sure spirit. That easily draws people in. If you learned something from today's discussion, please let me know. Feel free to share your ideas in the comments and don't forget to click like. If you want more videos like this, click the button and subscribe. The suggested videos on your screen offer more attraction tips. Thanks for your time. I hope to see you at the next video.